Hi everyone, welcome back to the Clean Strength Podcast. Today, Sleepy Adam has decided to go to sleep, and our original plans have been interrupted as a result of that. But the three of us are still here, me, myself, Mally, and David, and we've had the idea to go through the Powerlifting Reddit weekly dumb noob question threads and try to find if there's anything in here worth talking about. Now, if you guys have followed me for a bit, you know I love Reddit. I love my upvotes, my Reddit golds, my karma. I love Reddit and all of its greatness. So let's see if we can give some of these Reddit users a little bit of CSF knowledge, because frankly, the responses that they've gotten, they're not always the best. So first up, I found a weekly dumb noob question thread from 4 days ago. And the first question here is from Grom513. I'm sure that's his legal name. And he asks, for you hook grippers, how long before you became confident in your hook grip? Now, we all hook grip, right?
Yeah, we do.
That's crazy. Thank goodness Adam isn't here, because he doesn't hook grip. So he actually would be useless for this question. So guys, how long did it take you to become confident in your hook grip?
For me?
Nah, the other Mally. Yeah, for you, silly.
I don't know. I feel like it just came pretty good. I was told that I can grab the bar that way. And then I really quickly realized that my thumbs kind of come out of my hands.
What?
This sounds really weird, and I can't really talk about it without showing it to you, but it kind of just like comes out of my hands. Like it just displaces and becomes longer. So I just like, hold on, I think I'm making a hook grip. So I started hook gripping, and the way I really learned the tolerance portion, because everyone's like, oh, hook grip sucks because it hurts. I used to rack hold like 600, 700 pounds with the hook grip for like 30 seconds screaming in a dungeon gym. And I was just like, this is really going to help. And then I'd lat pull down with my hook grip. I just built tolerance in every single way. And now I feel like I can hook grip. The only time I don't hook grip in training is when I feel like my thumbs are getting tired. And that's a really good sign for me for fatigue too. I use that as a fatigue indicator. As soon as my thumbs feel tired, I'm like, I'm fatigued. So I start making different decisions in training. But that's been a really cool tool for me. My thumbs kind of talk to me, how my block's going, how my training's going.
Your thumbs are fucking weird, man. They come off of your hand, they talk to you. My
Yeah,
thumbs are just normal. I got normal thumbs. I don't trust your thumbs.
You have really small thumbs.
I have very small hands. It's
everyone who says you need gifted hands for hook grip, they need to like compare their hand to Nick's, because Nick has like a grade 5 girl's hand.
I would almost guarantee I have the smallest hands of anyone that is like men's 74 and up in powerlifting. I don't even care what class, like local, regional, like anyone that's a registered powerlifter, 74 and above, my hands are smaller than yours.
Yeah.
Are they
David,
really?
What about David? Honestly, probably. Look at that. There's no scale. There's no scale.
Put them against your face. Put them against your face. Show them around.
They don't know how big my face is.
The size of your face, it's pretty good. It's pretty big.
David,
Average.
what's your hook grip story?
Okay. I don't know. Like, it's gonna be hard because I started hook gripping before I even started mixed grip. So it's hard to say what or why I started hook grip. But I mean, honestly, I feel like hook grip is a cheat code. If you have like grip issues, or you know your grip strength is kind of shit, hook grip will solve it. Honestly, if you could always hook grip more than you mix grip. I feel like that's coming from well, yeah, I guess, but that's coming from personal experience.
Wasn't there that one dude who was like, facts don't care about your feelings. Here are the stats. And he was like, not a single world record has been pulled hook grip in powerlifting. And it was like a sample size of like 8. You guys see that post? My goal is to just like rip something with my thumb and then just be like, take that. But like
for a takeaway from this, what was the initial question? How do you learn hook grip or don't?
No, it's how long before you became confident with it?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think that just takes practice. Confidence with it is just a tolerance thing, I think.
Yeah, but how long? I want a specific time frame.
All right,
63 days.
I'll say a block. However long your block is.
2 blocks to build some tolerance. And if you're stopping hook grip because it hurts, but it's a better position for you, stop being a baby. Just hook. Like it should. If pain is going to be your reason to stop it, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I'm in a similar boat to you guys. I started hook gripping before I pulled mixed because before I ever saw any like even deadlift videos, I saw people tearing biceps, and I was like, that's really scary.
Oh yeah, that's.
So I learned how to hook right away, and so I was hooking,
Should we dive into some like hook grip tips, like how to get better at hook grip?
I haven't told you guys this yet. I'm telling everybody now. When Bray gets back from Westerns and I also get back from Westerns, I'm making him film a hook grip tutorial with me. I'm shooting it. So until then, your guys' hook grips are all just gonna suck until I come out with the keys.
You just reignited a memory in my brain because now that you mention it, that I think that is literally why I did hook grip before mix, because I was afraid of getting bicep tears, and I didn't want to have any imbalances.
I was so scared of bicep tears, and I didn't own straps because I was like 14 and I just wasn't gonna buy any. So I was also like Mally, where I just use like hook grip for everything, like shrugs, rows, pull-ups, anything I could wrap my thumb around, I would. And that's actually going to be in my hook grip tutorial.
My first pair of straps was after my SBD sponsorship.
That's actually crazy. What the fuck? You've never owned straps up until like a year ago?
That's a lie.
No, I never
calling you out on that. That's a lie.
People straps. I've always been like, you got straps that I can use?
No, that's a lie.
That's crazy.
Don't own straps.
That's a lie. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to call you out. It's because when I first started working with you, I'm the one who borrowed your straps.
No, I did not.
Yes.
Those were not mine. They were definitely not.
I'm like, Mal, do you have straps? Because you're like, dude, this guy, use your straps. Because I used to hook grip every step, every grip.
I've never bought straps. I probably took some.
Mally stole those straps off of somebody.
I probably stole someone's straps.
I remember because they were leather, and you're like, have you seen my leather straps?
There was one pair of straps, all a Yellowknife.
Yeah, they were probably one person's straps, and I took them. But
that was a core memory. I'm sorry, I have to.
Damn, I either really lied on this, or
you definitely had.
My next question, because I just got called out.
Okay, honestly, if anyone would actually go deep diving on your Instagram, they would see you using straps.
Well, I've used straps. I'm not saying
he's just saying you didn't own them, which
I didn't buy any. I've
also probably a lie.
It's
no way you never bought straps. Did you?
No, you definitely bought straps.
I haven't. Gyms just have them. Like in gyms have them. People have them. I just borrow them.
All right, that's enough of that. Anyways, you become confident in your hook grip. I don't know. Honestly, pretty fast. I'd say like
after you build like the dexterity and like the toughness around your thumbs, and it doesn't hurt as what it like used to. I think.
Yeah, I'd say it's actually to give something like actionable that isn't just kind of like brushing it off. As soon as you get the technique down, which in a roundabout fashion also requires you to be confident with it, it all kind of clicks, right? Whenever you're nervous with hook grip, you tend to like dig it way too deep in your hand, over squeeze, the bar rolls, you don't feel confident with it. As soon as you become confident and let the bar kind of hang, then you see how secure it is, and then you become more confident in it. It's almost like you need to trust fall into your hook grip in a roundabout fashion. So maybe that's the real answer. You become confident in your hook grip once you become confident in your hook grip. Worst answer I've ever given. But stay tuned for the tutorial when I teach you how to hook grip.
Are
in
you
like a
gonna talk
month.
about? Are you gonna talk about?
I'll talk about what I want to talk about, Mally. Don't spoil
You're
it.
gonna talk about not low hanging your straps
What?
when people
That's
just like
not. It's not
fingertip,
Oh, that's
fingertip
a,
their
How would
legs.
you know? You don't
entirely.
own straps.
I still
We
use
are.
them. I'm not saying I don't use them.
All right. Next question. Those of you who can bench 440. All right. Next question.
Wait, Dave, that's a David bench 440.
No.
That's
I just
440.
wanted to remind him.
If Adam was here, we could ask him, but sleepy Adam was
That's an
sleeping.
Adam question.
We'll ask him later. The question was how many reps can on 330 can you do? How many reps can Adam hit on 330 or 150 keys?
I have a good question here on my Reddit thread that I'm looking at.
No, I got more, man. I'm just trying to be, you know.
Okay, but I want to talk about this one. Can we talk about
Yeah, I
thoughts,
think
on,
he really wants to talk about this one.
All right, yeah, go.
thoughts on SSBs?
That's that. I know what that's not even on the question thread. That's its own thread. I know. All right, thoughts on SSBs? They're pretty good.
I love them.
I like them too.
Honestly, my thoughts
Should
is
we-
that like when I saw that thread, I was like, does this person? Because I know the question you're talking about. I think the thread is something like, never seen any powerlifters use SSBs, and like maybe that shows the demographic. Because I do think that to some degree they've fallen out of favor in like the tested population. Like specificity has become so far king that we've talked about it. Everyone's talking about it. What if I did SBD 6 times a week? That sort of like line of thinking, right? So in that same vein, it's like, why would I ever use anything that isn't my 29 millimeter powerlifting bar? If it's not Elite Go, I don't even want to touch it, right? But the SSB is such an incredible tool. Not even just, I mean, obviously we're not talking about general population here, but even within a powerlifting setting, like, man, it has so many good applications in terms of like not just building the squat, but even like avoiding some issues. Like I've had some guys that have had like some crippling elbow pain, and instead of being like, all right, well, let's try to find ways to work around this and everything, it's like, look, we can work around this, but also let's just start using the SSB on your secondary slot and just not aggravate further, right? Like there are so many use situations for it. I think if like, I don't know any powerlifting coaches that I respect that would just straight up ignore the SSB. But I think it'd be like such a crazy red flag to hear someone be like, oh yeah, like the SSB is not a straight bar. I wouldn't use it. It's not specific enough. Would be nuts, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful piece of equipment. One of the best.
Agreed.
Yeah, and Mal, you want to add on to it since you were so excited about that question? What do you want to talk about?
I just wanted to talk about how people, I don't know, I personally think, I came across some research about the SSB a while ago, because I was kind of curious about like what it actually does to the body. And there's quite a bit of research. I think it's done by Eric Helms. He talks about how people use the SSB as if it's like a front squat, and they'll like hold it up really high. The handle is really high, try to stay really upright with the SSB squat. And the research basically said that if you use the SSB squat with the handles to pull them in and like actually just move your torso in space how you're just supposed to with any squat, naturally in space how you're supposed to in any squat, there's a lot more erector hypertrophy and strength that goes on in the movement itself. So I wanted to touch on, when you use the SSB, don't try to be like, oh, I'm using this as a front squat. If you're using it for like reasons Nick said, for elbow pain, pec pain, stuff like that, right? Or even just as another tool to build your squat. I think it's really important to actually pull the handles into you, let your torso fall, and even on the way up, if you let your torso come down, you're going to be able to use your erectors and build strength, hypertrophy all around quite a bit. So that's what I wanted to talk about when it came to the SSB. So yeah, I fucking love that thing.
Like personally, when I do use the SSB, I dig the handles down so hard and I just let that thing fold me. Like I want the SSB personally, like within my case, to just put me in the worst position possible, right? Just round back the shit out of it. And that tends to just, 4 periods of time blow up my deadlift, like historically speaking. Because like if I can get myself out of that position, then when I'm deadlifting, it's just way easier to do that, right? So I've used it during like blocks that I want to prioritize my deadlift. And also just like for novelty's sake and everything, I'll have my secondary squat placement be SSB, just so that way I can also still get obviously like squat pattern done. It's still like a great squat accessory, but now there's just a bit more carryover, so to speak, to my deadlift, just because it just forces me to uncurl so much. But you gotta pull the handles and then let it bully you to do that.
Yeah.
David, you do any SSB work?
Yeah, I love SSB work. Honestly, it's such a good secondary movement. Kind of like helps build strength, like fundamentally, just everywhere else with that a low bar position wouldn't target. And also, it's nice to kind of like change things up a bit too, especially if, like you were saying, your elbows are super sore from having like a low bar position. It's just great. I love it.
Have you guys ever used the Mars bar?
I don't eat candy bars, dude. I got enough calories for that. What do you mean? I've also never, okay, in reality, I've never even seen a Mars bar in person.
Oh, really?
No.
613 used to have one in Ottawa. It was pretty. I used it for like my pec was so fucked I couldn't get into a low bar position, and I actually peaked with the Mars bar.
For the listeners, do you want to explain what that bar is?
Yeah, Mars bar is basically an SSB squat bar, but it has a really huge curvature to it at the top, and the weight sits way lower on your back. So the handles are still where the SSB handles would be, but the weight goes way further down your back. So it's just exaggerating what those SSB squats should. And you have no room to kind of like pull the handles up and all that shit. It kind of just like forces you into that low bar position. So yeah, I peaked with it once. And the first time I squatted in low bar in 3 weeks of the peak was on the platform, and it still did really good for me.
Yeah, like if the SSB is the high bar variant, the Mars bar is the low bar variant. Next question?
Yeah.
All right. By Remarkable Till 2340. I don't know why I'm reading these names. I don't think they give a shit. I don't think they're gonna hear this. Squat shoes. Are they a necessity? I have been lifting flat-footed / in socks, but I'm considering my first meet in February and wasn't sure if I should change to using squat shoes. Obviously, actually, I have the hot take. They could be necessary, depending on you, which is the lame answer. But
that's literally what I was thinking. And it's such a coach answer to be like,
it's the most boring answer, yeah. But it does. But it do.
It really does. No, it really does.
Okay, what does it depend on, Nick?
Look, can you squat in flats to comp depth with strength in the hole and stability? You probably don't need them. Can you not do that? You might need them. If you're taller and lankier, they can help a lot, right? Like if you find that just getting into the hole is an extremely awkward process and you're just kind of running out of room and like your ankle, your knee, your hips, whatever, sometimes squat shoes can help with that. But even then, some really tall, lanky people, the squat shoes give them too much room, right? It's so hyper dependent on the individual that the reason that we default to it depends is because it would frankly be such a case-by-case basis that I would be much more comfortable being like, look, I'll say it now. If you are wondering if you would be better in squat shoes or flats, just send me a DM of you squatting and I'll give you an answer. It's going to be better that way than trying to like line out the specifics that we'd look for because it just kind of comes down to how you move.
Yeah. I was gonna say like for production of force, but that's probably more like higher level. Like can't tell a beginner to be like, where are you producing more force? Which way? But if you're more intermediate or higher intermediate, and you're listening to this and you try both shoes, if you're not being able to produce force with one, you probably want to go with the other. And obviously, let's say you're still able to hit depth on both and stuff like that. Like those are the bare minimum. But if you can't, some people are. I know this because when I first started squatting, I was in heels, and I was having quite a bit of I was having a hard time hitting, getting force in the squat, and it's always been my issue with heels. But with flats, I felt very forceful. I was like, I can produce so much force in this shit. But I wasn't able to pronate, so that's kind of like flattening your foot. If you don't know what pronation means, Google it if you really don't. But I wasn't able to get into the hole deeper. I wasn't able to get deep in the squat with flats, but I knew I was a way more forceful squatter with flats. So I just went to heels, learned how to hit depth. I did this. I'm talking like 5 years of heels. I went into heels to learn this. And I did all my accessories, forcing myself to learn how to pronate, ankle mobility, trying to get, really good, comfortable in the hole. And now I'm back into flats and I feel powerful as hell because I've always just known that I'm powerful in flats. So it's just way easier for me to just do that. But depth was the biggest issue. So I was very patient with it. And now I'm feeling like I'm able to produce force and hit depth in flats. So I think if you're, that's also a good thing to like be wary about. If you want to figure out which one's good, is figure out where you produce force the most, which way.
Yeah, David, any thoughts on the flats heels debacle? What do you use again? I forget. You use one on each?
Yeah, I go one heeled foot and one flat shoe on the other foot.
That shit's awesome.
Yeah. My hips are not aligned. One's higher than the other, so this is how I hit depth. No, but actually I use flats, to be honest. And it's hard to give a definitive answer to the heels versus flats debate, because I mean it's a pretty big debate. Like there's a lot of people who made videos on it already, so I mean you could definitely go watch one of their videos, but I would say is you just have to try it.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why if you're squatting in flats and you're doing fine and you're like, oh, I should try heels. Like I think at that point you already convinced yourself that you want to try it, and I think you should just do it. And that way you can kind of get a feel of what's better, because if you just think about, I'm only using flats because it's my strongest position, but I've never used heels before, then you actually will never know. And I think once you try that and you can have something to compare to, because everyone's built different, everyone's body kind of lengths are different and stuff like that. Once you kind of are able to get that data and compare it all together, then you can kind of see what works best for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
yeah,
a lot of people kind of like you said, there's been massive discussions over like on paper, like it isn't as simple as you get access to more dorsiflexion. It's like, okay, the heel of in actuality, it like puts you on a slant that causes a sort of posterior extension bias up the chain, yada, yada, yada. Like David said, all that matters is that you try it. And a lot of people would actually go so far as to be like, or they would ask, like, is investing in a squat shoe, if I'm only going to try it, even worth it? And I would argue, yes, absolutely, because just having like a pair of squat shoes in your gym bag, they're a great tool for like accessories. Like even if you don't use them on comp lifts, I don't want to hack squat unless I'm in squat shoes. It just feels better, right? Same with like leg pressing. Like there's a ton of lower body movements that just feel better in heels, right? And now you have those in your arsenal, even if you don't use them on the comp lifts. So I think everybody should invest in a pair of heels down the line eventually. Like you can get a pretty cheap pair of like Do-Ins for like $90. I don't know how much they cost anymore. Yeah. Those are good shoes.
If you really want to be cheap, you can buy wedges and just throw them in your flat shoes.
No, because you can't use those on the platform, dude. What if I love them?
If you're doing it for accessories and stuff, and you want to try.
But no, because what if I'm like, I love these on my comp squat. Now what? Now you have wedges and squat shoes?
Or use plates. Go super brokey.
No, because now there's like the issue of like there's that empty barefoot or midfoot that like pronates. Yeah, but it might not necessarily be what you want. These are different modalities, man. You can't call these tools the same. They're different tools.
I'm going to do a whole video one day podcasting by myself explaining what that foot gap can do for you. And I'm going to get David Weck on this.
You're gonna get the Weckmeister on the CSF podcast,
yeah,
and then you're not gonna invite me?
No, it's just gonna be you.
All right, next question I'm not reading that. What's everyone's best strategies for managing fatigue? Aside from obvious ones like hydration, sleep, fueling workouts with carbs, I feel like fatigue has been a huge roadblock for me, and my progress is considerably slow considering my training age. 2 years, 1.5 years PL, I'm 25. My sleep is dialed, my nutrition reasonable, and I'm scrambling for mid-intermediate numbers and watching others skyrocket. Only stone unturned is my coach, which I'm about to change. Just wanting anyone's tips or strategies, conventional or unconventional. Cheers. Fatigue is good. I think it's a mindset thing. I think
after your thumbs have talked to you, what do you do?
What the fuck are you talking? Oh yeah, your stupid thumbs talk to you. You're crazy. You're crazy. I think that fatigue has been misunderstood by the masses and especially by intermediates as this sort of like demon that you want to stave off. And viewing it as a roadblock, I think, is harmful and fallacious, right? Because what is fatigue? It is a byproduct of essentially good work, right? Like it is the exhaust fumes on our gasoline-fueled machines, right? We need them. We need to have this byproduct of fatigue. If there is no fatigue, we probably aren't getting enough stimulus to actually induce change, right? So rearranging your thoughts on fatigue is not necessarily something that needs to be avoided, and seeing it as simply like, okay, getting to these levels of fatigue, probably, assuming, because like he said, sleep is good, nutrition is good, more or less the things that they can do to manage fatigue outside of just training less is being managed. So that should tell you that, if fatigue is reasonably high or you do feel just tired and lethargic after a training block, it was probably productive. And at that point, if you're not happy with the numbers, you've only been trained for 1.5 years. You got to just keep cooking. You haven't been in the game that long. You need to understand that fatigue is just part of the process, right?
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. Like if this person's been training for just their training age is 2 years, and you're comparing to people who are skyrocketing progress, you're already thinking about it wrong. People are going to make progress at different speeds, so you're already thinking about it wrong. So get rid of that mindset. And then now if we're talking about fatigue is just something that's going to happen, right? You just have to, what Nick was saying, if you accept it, it's fine. I've accepted that I probably have chronic fatigue syndrome. I'm always fucking bagged, but I don't care. I'm going to just do my session. I'm going to control all the variables you talked about, and I'm going to train because I'm still going to be tired as hell, but I'm still going to try, right? And I probably learned this more during my cut, because when I started my cut, Tim told me you have to refuse to get weaker. And I didn't really understand that until I was about like getting to that 5 or 6 week out mark, because now my body started to talk to me. My brain, every time I went under the bar, my thumbs, my feet ached. When you're really tired after like taking 30,000 steps, walking around a European country, your feet start aching the next day because you're wearing those weird, silly shoes that Nick wears everywhere in Europe.
They're Turkish loafers, and I walked 43,000 steps in them, and I was fine.
Yeah, so if when you get to that point of that fatigue, you're like, for me personally, when we talked about this in another podcast where Nick's client was telling him, like, his brain started to ask him questions about like, what's the point of this and all that crap, and that was happening to me too. So that was my story of fatigue, where my brain just started to tell me and question things and all these weird things, but I just refused. I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm still going to push through this. So it's like a question you have to ask yourself, like, am I going to fall into this fatigue, or am I just not going to give a fuck? Right. So it's a mindset thing. If you're controlling all your variables, if you're not controlling all your variables, again, shout out to Eric Helms. He has a book where he has a really good flow chart in there. If you're not making progress, go on that flow chart, go back to the top, start again, and keep fucking restarting that flow chart until you figure all the shit out. Because if you're variable,
you know the book?
Huh?
Do you know the book?
Muscle and Strength Pyramid or some shit, it's called.
Good enough. Someone will find it. You can't just say he has a book and then say, look at the flow chart. It doesn't help me. David, how do you deal with fatigue? Do you deal with fatigue?
I think I'm kind of in the same boat as you guys. I kind of have like that boomer mentality of just pushing through. Yeah, I honestly, I can't really say much more just because I'll just be regurgitating what Nick and Mally said. But if anything, like if you have control of all your variables and you aren't progressing, I feel like it might be a programming issue. But
yeah, no, that's a good thing. You can dive into that. Like, what do you mean?
Like, so if you are programming correctly, you should be kind of keeping track of your data. We spoke about this a lot in previous podcasts about pacing yourself accordingly and kind of knowing when to push it and when to pull back. And also kind of clicked in my brain when the Reddit post or whoever posted it said, what, they only been training for like a year and a half or 2 years or whatever?
2 years,
2
1.5
years?
years powerlifting. So like
Exactly.
a half year of just like general bullshit.
Yeah. So a year and a half of powerlifting is actually not that long. It's baby years almost. And this could be part of it, but I don't know because I just don't know what kind of athlete this person is or how the programming is. But they may not be able to read their internal RPE scale. They could be overdoing it in some certain areas, either be like their compounds or their accessories. I think if you have everything dialed in and you're still not making progress, I think you have to go back into the data and see what's going on there. What's your tonnage from week to week, block to block, and see how that is progressing and what we can kind of slightly tweak there to kind of help you recover, but also get the best out of your programming.
Yeah, because like I sort of initially hinted at the start, you could be worried that you're doing too much because you start to feel fatigued. But if you're not making progress, there's a very good chance that you're just not doing enough, right? You got to get a little fatigued if you expect to make any progress. It's got to suck sometimes. It's got to hurt. It's got to be a bit tiring. It's got to be hard. Like Mally was saying, I know for myself, when I'm in meet prep, I'm at a good point when I start to induce a fever. Every meet that I've ever had where I feel peaked, I get a fever, like a week out. It is what it is. You got to feel a bit feverish sometimes. From deleted. What is everyone's go-to solution for electrolytes? Salt, bit of sodium and potassium. I genuinely use a Celtic pink sea salt, and it's like 40% potassium, 60% sodium. Super cheap. Throw that in with some dextrose, and that's my intra. I don't think that you guys you're using Element or whatever the liquid IV. What are those market
I
solutions?
don't even know what the one I've used is called. I get it at my gym. I think it's IPF approved. And then I just solved my shit, man. There is something in my cabinet that I've been putting in my greens lately that's really good potassium. So I'm not that crazy about it, but yeah.
What's the question again? Hydration?
What electrolytes you take?
Yeah, what's your electrolyte? What's your electrolyte of choice, David?
Yeah, honestly, if I'm feeling super cheap, I'll do what Nick does, use some salt. But if I'm feeling like, a little spicy and I want some flavor, I'll hit up some body armor. Correct me if I'm wrong, whoever's listening, but I saw a video out there where I think the body armor ratio of like electrolyte, salt, and potassium or whatever is actually better than its competitor drinks. Could be wrong, but that's what I saw. I mean, I think any kind of electrolyte drink is fine if you want flavor and you want to drink it intra and you like sipping on something that's has a little bit of flavor to it. But yeah, that's what I do.
AI says body armor drinks are not waterproof.
We're not using AI. Get out of here. Shut up.
Do they really
Shut up,
say it's
right
not
the fuck now.
waterproof?
Hey, shut up. It doesn't say that.
It does.
Is it really?
Yeah, it says it's not waterproof.
Why?
Yeah, what would you ask Grok? Hey Grok, can I drink body armor?
Why?
Is this real?
Give me a reason.
I don't think it's very accurate because it doesn't look at the ingredients. It just looks at the company if it's
Oh, it probably just hasn't had like third-party testing.
Yeah.
See, this is why you can't trust Grok.
Yeah, wait, we
trust
gotta get
Grok.
Bray blank out that last part. We don't want to get sued here.
Bray, do whatever you want. All right. One more question. You guys want to end on a programming question? I think this one's pretty decent, actually.
Can we just talk about programming?
No, we talked about electrolytes.
Oh, no, before that.
I mean, hey, are we not coaches? All right.
All right.
This one is worded in the most Reddit way possible. I hope Reddit doesn't repost this podcast and we get dragged by a bunch of high karma Reddit gold wielding mods.
This might just become our thing, People will get reposted and then they'll just be looking forward to our questions. All right.
Anyways, for Loops and Ladders asks, life is lifing right now, and I need to adjust some things. I'll need to drop from 4 days at the gym to 3. I'm used to 4. My brain is saying I'm lazy for dropping to 3. Can anyone offer perspective on training 3 days a week? Can progress be made, or am I just going to get way out of shape? The reason I actually want to talk about this is because I just had a conversation with an athlete at the gym a couple hours ago about this, in that right now we just don't know how consistent he can be with 4 days, right? Life is lifing, and that means that some weeks we can get in 4, some weeks that 4 gets stretched out over 2 weeks, right? I asked him if he could consistently give me 3 days a week, and he said, yeah, but isn't that less? And it's like, it is. But the most important variable in a good program, or honestly just in training, is consistency, right? If we don't have consistency, we don't know what's working and what's not, right? It immediately adds so much noise that it's just a guessing game. Are we getting in like 4 days a week in a row and then we're off 3 and then we're on 2 and then what's going on here, right? It's so impossible to do our jobs as coaches, in my opinion, versus if we can consistently get in approximately the same 3 days every week. Sure, it's less volume, but we know exactly what to tweak. We know exactly what to work. And I've had athletes that have ran 3-day-a-week programs for months, not just for like a little amount of time, but genuinely milking it until we couldn't anymore. And it lasts a lot longer than you think because it's consistent. And I think that is the most important variable, right? So I think that 3 days a week, absolutely viable.
Yeah.
Maybe the bare minimum, though. That is my caveat. I've never seen 2 days a week work.
2 days would be crazy, but I mean, I am very big on adherence. and what Nick said. If, like I tell my clients all the time, if there's exam seasons, if there's shit going on in life that's causing you to train less, but you can do it more consistently, and you're actually feeling like the accomplishment of finishing workouts and finishing weeks and finishing blocks, that's way more important than trying to force 6 horrible sessions in a week, right? Like if you can do really good, solid 3-day sessions, 3-day weeks, then do that. You know, Gel, fucking guy who just won Sheffield Worlds. If you don't know Gel, I don't know what to tell you. He trains 3 times a week.
Does he actually?
Yeah, he trains 3 times a week.
I thought it was 4.
No, he put it on a story like not too long ago. It's been like maybe 2 months, but he trains 3 times a week because of family, work, his full-time job, his full-time coach or part-time coaching that he does. He just doesn't have time to train more than 3, and he's training 3, and he's winning shit. So if you're able to complete it, that's way more important, right? Obviously, if you have more time, then do it. For example, when I was working, I might have talked about this or maybe one of the not posted podcasts, but when I was really, really like traveling a lot for work, and I was living in hotels and shit, I get my schedule a month before every month. I used to just give my schedule to Tim, my coach. And I used to be like, tell me when to train, even if it's scattered, but I want to make sure I finish the block. Because when I was telling him I'm going to do 6 days a week, I wasn't able to finish the blocks. And then it was just all over the place. I wasn't making progress. But when I was maybe taking like a bit longer than usual to finish a block, but it would actually feel way better because I'm actually finishing it. So mentally I was feeling more accomplished. I was making more progress because I actually finishing workouts, and I was enjoying it more. So for me, that was a big thing. So if you have some shit like that where you need to schedule more, maybe talk to your coach. If your coach doesn't listen to you, you can go on at cleanstrengthfitness.com and find Malhar or Mally Produces Lift, and I will figure it out for you. But yeah, no, I think that's one of the main things that I do with coaching in myself, that I make adherence number 1 priority.
Yeah. This is pretty easy question to end off on. Absolutely, 3 days is perfectly fine. Like, sound like just repeating you guys, but adherence and being consistent is the number 1 thing. And like, if you're afraid you're going to lose progress going on to 3 days, it's not true, because as long as you're consistent, you'll still be making progress. It's better than trying to do 4 days and have it like day 4 pushed a week after or whatever, like all your days are all split up, right? So if you have to move down to 3 days, that's perfectly fine, because if you can adhere to that, you're going to make progress no matter what.
Yeah, 3 days is honestly, I'm not going to call it a meta, but like Bally said, Gel, powerlifter, one of the best to ever do it on 3 days. You guys know Greg O'Gallagher of Kino Body? Dude was actually right about everything. He's been preaching 3 days a week forever. Like forever.
Drop that guy.
Dude, okay. Because way back in the day, right? Because here's actually like the cultural paradigm shift here, is that there's this idea that like more is better. And if you're not in the gym all the time, you're not a real gym rat, you gotta love it. I'm in there all the time because I love it, right? And Kino Body's whole thing was like, look, most guys are in the gym because they want to look like movie stars. And Greg was like, you're going to be better at doing that if you can be consistent, if you could adhere, and all you need is really 3 days a week. So he's been like preaching this 3 day a week training system for years. And it really is all you need, right? Like, I always, with my athletes, use the analogy of like gardening when it comes to training. It's this idea that like you can't force a garden to grow. You can give it a bit of stimulus, right? You can, sow the seeds. You can give it water, and then you give it some sunlight, but then you just got to let it do its thing. You can't add more water and sunlight. You'll kill your plants. You can't just do more if you have nothing left to give. You got to just do the right amount and find that stimulus that you need, and then just let it grow. And for a lot of people, 3 days is that stimulus that they need. So more people should actually try the less is more approach. I think it's great. So yeah, 3 days, absolutely enough. There's one more question here, and it's by NW Manders. What's the best chalk on the market? Reddit question is that it's clean grip. Best chalk that you could use. We're not sponsored, by the way.
Yeah.
Really, not really sponsored. And for all of these questions too, a coach would help you answer them so much better than a Reddit thread. Where could you find a coach, guys?
I think at Clean Strength Fitness.
At Clean Strength Fitness on Instagram is where you could help answer these questions with immediate precision, like we've done here today. So if you have any coaching needs, if you have any grip needs, you know where to find us. This has been a blast. This has been great. I love Reddit. Reddit gives us so much, and we hope that we have given back to some degree. This has been Clean Strength Fitness. Bye.